Inspire.
Nkwaniriza nate ku programu yaffe ya Inspire. Programu y'abawala bato naye tugenda kubeera nga twongeramu n'abavubuka. Like they are complaining, why are we leaving them behind? So it would be fair okubeera nga nabo tukola ki tubongeramu kubanga nabo balina bingi ebyokuyiga. So olunaku olwaleero nina omugenyi ow'enjawulo. Abamu bayinza okugamba yinga ate wamuleetako. They resemble, I'm so shocked banange. Nabadde neebuuza ono gwe ndaba yeye oba nedda, but yeah, they are twins. But it's interesting okuba nga bombi balina ebintu ebyenjawulo bye bakola and it's inspiring. So I'll be introducing a guest w'omumaaso awo naye okwongera okujjukiza program ya Inspire ebeerayo buli lwa Sunday saa 12 n'ekitundu ez'akawungeezi ate bw'okisiba osobola ogira across ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi naye ne ku YouTube gye tuli abalabira ku YouTube Mima in Canada abeerayo buli kaseera nagamba webale tuterayo so tuliddeko nnyo tukoledde wano ku Dynasty Lounge along Wampewo Avenue, so we're in parties, if you need breakfast, lunch, the venues are free. So if you have a wedding, maybe shower, the venue is free. Chokech for Chirunji, they are so shocked okubanga muna venue ya werere. Isn't it shocking?
Yeah, it is for free.
It's for free.
Yeah.
Naye kambanjo lino kuwa olunaku olwaleero.
Hi.
Good night. Tamani Uganda. So we are going to keep to English. my mom is the one who always complains. Play program ya Uganda. Racho yogero luzu. Most people speak English.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Maybe most young girls like speaking English.
Not
so,
even, we're from different tribes, so some of us don't speak really Luganda. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, Mercy, who is Mercy?
Good morning to all our viewers. My name is Mercy Adongo. I am an entrepreneur, I am an influencer, and then an activist. I am also a founder of a charity organization that is called One Girl Africa. And basically what we do is to advocate for social development, education, and all challenges that children are facing in the community that is limiting them from accessing their great potential. Yeah.
So peace is after young mothers,
then
after
children generally, yeah.
I admire your family.
Thanks.
So, kindly tell us about your background, brief background about yourself, education, age.
Yeah. So I grew up in a small village called Kobi in Tilingawa, and that is in Ngora district in Teso. And then I lived with my mother, who is a tailor, with my twin sister and other siblings. She used to do tailoring fashion. So within that, I adopted her skills of doing fashion, like her cut-offs. I wanted to also create things and, So we left the village and came to the city. I think that was in 2013. And then we based in Entebbe. I had all my primary and secondary, and now I'm doing a course at MTech, a business course, and I'm waiting to graduate in May. That is next year. Yeah.
So you're doing a course in?
I'm doing a course in clearing and forwarding.
Pardon?
Clearing and forwarding. Yeah.
What do you do?
Clearing, it's just into shipping management, like logistics, yeah. logistics.
So when you come up with this idea, did you talk about the modeling side?
The modeling thing, I have done beauty pageants, not basically like modeling, like, because modeling is different from beauty pageants. These are different things, so I've done beauty pageants.
Why is modeling into my head?
Yeah.
This mentioned it, so.
Yeah. So I've done beauty pageants. I have lost some and won some, both nationally and internationally. I have won Miss Teen Globe Uganda. That was in 2020. And then in 2021, I won Miss Ecotourism World Uganda, and I represented the country in South Africa, in Durban. Yeah.
So now I see. So you talked about fashion and design, how you are able to learn from your mom.
Yeah.
Most people, when we look at our parents doing some things, we always distance ourselves from them.
Yeah.
What pulled you to?
I think I've been aggressive as a child. Like, I've been someone who wants to learn things, So growing up with my mother in that space, like, you go to school, come back and find her doing the same thing. Literally, we're staying in the same shop that she used to do her tailoring and stuff like that. And then I was so quiet, and I'm like, what is this that she's doing? Okay. Then I started to train myself, started to make create things out of them. And then as I grew up, I discovered there's a space for fashion. That is beauty pageants. I also tried going for a fashion course, but of course I left it because I was like, why am I going to invest in something that I'm naturally into?
Yeah.
My mother's trained me how to do tailoring. Maybe I can do it
The
as...
reason I'm asking, my mom does tailoring as well, and my dad. But I don't know anything about it. So I don't know about your other siblings. Were they also interested in?
We all actually, what surprises me is we all do the same thing. Yeah.
Maybe your mom interested in.
Yeah, I think we're all interested to learn. She never really pushed us like, you should do what I'm doing. But we just went on, and we want to adapt, we want to, be in that space, yeah. But we don't do it for business or career or, we just do it for fun. Maybe I can go to her shop and help her create things, or sometimes I can make outfits for myself, yeah.
So do you have any plans of, because right now it's one of the biggest industries that is growing fast.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts of joining it?
I think I'm already in it.
Now that you're into beauty
pageants, yeah. I plan on doing it. I think I'm already in it. I just need to put in more time and effort on it. Maybe create my own fashion label, and with the help of my mother, have machines and have space whereby she design things and help us sometimes, because I'm someone who is not seated in one point. Like, I have a lot of things to do. I'm always leaving the country, coming back. I'm always doing community outreaches. So, but of course I don't need to be present sometimes. I just need to have my phone. I just need to have the idea, and then social media is there to support.
So your journey into beauty pageants.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
My journey into beauty pageants. So I started my first beauty pageant in 2017, where I was in senior. I was in my vacation, senior for vacation. Yes, senior for vacation. So there was this clan beauty pageant. I'm from Teso, and we have Ateker. It's the clan. So we have Iteso in Kenya, we have Iteso in South Sudan, we have Iteso in Ethiopia. So they were like, we want to have a unifying pageant to have the face of the Ateker, the face of the clan. So my friends and my relatives who were so close to me were like, Masi, why don't you go for this? You have the futures, you're so much into this, like you have the interest to be in these spaces to serve the community, and this may be the platform that you can, use to advocate for certain things, beauty, community service, and all of that. So I was like, okay. I escaped from my mother because she never really supported me going for those things. So I went in Kenya. That was where the pageant was held. All the process was done, but I didn't win. Then I came back in 2019. I went for Miss Tourism Teso. I participated in that. Then I became the Miss Talent, Miss Tourism Teso. And then in 2020, I went for Miss Teen Globe Uganda, where I became the face, the queen of Miss Teen Globe Uganda. I was supposed to go and represent in Mexico, but of course the COVID came in, so all the plans were stopped.
We all know our parents have this negative side of beauty and all those pageants. And considering, sorry to bring it up, what happened to your sister during that time? Did it affect you in any way? Did your parents maybe try to stop you or
to go in for the beauty pageants? Actually, I think parents have a different view towards beauty pageants and modeling, you know, those industries, those spaces. Up to now, they still do. And there is nothing we are going to do to change that thinking from them, but we just have to continue putting it to their faces and make them understand how it really works. So I had to put in more effort to convince my mother, not just to convince by mouth, but also to make her see the things that I do. It's not just about walking on stage or nudity, because that is what everyone thinks. That's what our parents think. You have to go on stage nude, swimsuit and what. I had to give her the other side of view. I told her, like, you raised me as a single mother, and then I've been under a charity organization, Compassion Uganda, that has been supporting me throughout my growth. And you've seen the kind of neighborhood that we have grown up from. So I want to be able to get this exposure, to use my networks to go back and advocate for people who are like me, the children that are so identified with me, you know. So I gave her that picture and she's like, okay, so it's not just what I think it's about service. Beauty pageants are like leadership positions. You need to be able to stand out and go and speak for people who cannot speak for themselves. So that changed, and up to now we're in connection. Like, she supports all my advocacies,
So you talked about exposure and all that. What was in your mind when you joined? What did you want really? Was it the money, the exposure, and what was in your mind?
I have always wanted to have a space that gives me a place of service, like being a leader. There are so many spaces that you can be a leader. You can be a politician, you can be maybe a musician and sing out to pass out a message, but I wasn't fitting into all those areas. So I'm like, there are beauty pageants, and I think I understood it very well. Maybe some people think...
Exactly, that's why I'm asking. Some people join it just for
fun. Just for fun. Yeah.
Just to be
famous,
TV,
yes.
Famous.
That's why you see,
And
after
I
even
feel like
being
you've
there...
done a lot out of it. So meaning you had a background on what you wanted, you really wanted before joining.
So like me getting into beauty pageants, I wanted to be able to share my story. And I believe by sharing my story, someone would be inspired, and maybe my networks would expand, and I will be able to achieve what I set, and that is to be able to go back to my home or to other places to stand up for these people and be able to give them the support that they need, you know. So it came from the inside. Yes, there is exposure, there is also being famous, but then if it's in a most honest way, I appreciated it, because I believe if I'm seen in these spaces and then I'm able to go back, people are able to trust me with whatever they can, so that I go back and support the people that I stand for. Yes. So the money also comes in, because we need support even when you're doing the things. You cannot go to the community when you're sick. You cannot go and speak for people when you don't have transportation. You cannot, you know. But also I managed to get the skills, to get the ideas, to learn things, how to, you know, earn for myself, to be able to do this, yes.
I once hosted from a Miss Tourism, I think, Osoga, Eastern region, and she told me these beauty pageants are expensive.
Yes.
And from your background, I'm looking at how are you able to fund this and putting in efforts. I understand you're a fashion designer, you can be able to come up with your own designs. I don't know how your pageants work, but some pageants you have to take care of everything, the outfits and everything. So I don't know, how was it on your side?
the first thing is God is good. God is good. I didn't have the support from my family, my own family. I had the support from my friends. You know, sometimes I borrowed outfits, to be honest with you. I borrowed things to be the gown. I could reach out to designers and tell them, like, can you have me your gown? Then I do this for you. But still they go and look out on your platforms. You don't have the following. Like, how is it going to be a win-win? So they say no, you know. So I went in with belief that if I have a personality in me, if I believe in myself, if I have something unique that I really believed I had, and the pageant is transparent and honest, I don't think they're going to look out for the outer self. You know, I'm going to try so much to be in, because I have to glow, because I have to be beautiful. Yeah, I have to, you know, match the standard, but I'm not going to force it. But if the pageant is most transparent and honest, then I think I have something in me that they will appreciate and want me to work with them. So I went in with that, and then I won. Yes, yeah, I outstood. Yes.
Wow. Tugenda kubeera nga tuwummulamuko naye bwe tukomawo agenda kubatubuulira where do you get interest in children?
In children.
See, everyone wants to do it. We always had such dreams that I'm going to start up an NGO, I'm going to do charity, but now it seems some of us that need charity.
I saw that on a TikTok. People who say they're going to do this for children, now they are the neediest. They need the support. Yeah, you're the children.
Anyway, when we come back, we are going to look into that. Weewaawo kulikayo mu kuwummulamu kwaffe okwo nga bwe mbategeezezza tukyali wano ku Dynasty Lodge we tukolera. I love their place. It's nice, it's quiet. So bw'oba ng'olina w'oyagala okuwummulira ng'okooyo okolera ku ofiisi yo osobola okuggyako wano n'okolerawoko. Naye nga nkozeeko makeup ye Jamie Glam. So mukubira ku 0770550651 ne Jamie. Kaglamu nga kali common yaye erinnya eddala nga liri unique. Anyambaza ye Joanita wali ku Clarets Boutique, so mukubira ku 0772330591. We are still continuing with the story of our beauty queen.
Yeah.
I think I'm a beauty pageant. Yes, Mercy.
Yes.
So we were looking at charity organizations.
Yes.
Most of us have such dreams, but it's not as easy as we think.
Yes.
Sometimes we think it's about the money.
Yeah.
Why children?
Okay. So I have, like I said in the middle of our conversation, I've been under a charity organization, a non-profit organization that is called Compassion Uganda. So we're put in the system when we're just 3 years, me and my twin sister.
3 years.
3 years, when the organization had just come into Uganda, I think. So they were
So you're
scouting.
the pioneers.
Yeah, we are the pioneers, yeah. Yeah, so we put in the system and they told us you first have to be patient. Like they take you pictures, then they submit them to Europe. So someone who has the willingness and the heart to want to support any child could select your picture and say, this is the person that I want to, you know, take care of.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. That's how they told us. So we're in the organization for about a few months. Then we received news like you have a sponsor now, and my sponsor is called Katie. Benja, and she's from Canada. So we were in the system from 3 years to 20 years old. Yeah. And then in that organization, it wasn't just for children, any other children. It wasn't for the children who saw the life easily. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they spotted out children who have unbearable challenges. The vulnerable children, the sick children, maybe mentally, or they have issues with their backgrounds and stuff like that. So we're so lucky to be there, even if we're not the worst. There were people who were worse. There are children who were really worse in there. So being there for all these years, I learned to love. I learned to be kind. I was practicing it even within ourselves, my fellow children. I appreciated and encouraged them, even within our organization, our center, because we used to live there. You know, so I saw this, and as I grew up, in my mind, I'm like, if I get any chance to leave this place, I should be able to come back to this place and do something. Even if it's not just this place, there are so many places that people have not spoken about, and there are children that are suffering and struggling there. They just need a hand. Even if you don't give them materials, even if you don't give them things at hand, they at least need someone to speak up for them.
So what were some of the biggest challenges you noticed that children were facing in the area?
Education. Education, limited access to education. You know, personally, I was in there, okay? Even the children in my area, in the neighborhood, could go to school, but there was no valid accession, like, to the schools. And I think it's important for everyone to have access to education, because other things are easily solved. If someone is aware of something, if someone has the knowledge about something, about their surrounding, about themselves, about the community, about the country in general, what happens around, I think all these other things are really solved easily. So that's the most challenge that I saw. It's lack of access to education.
So now, how are you going to start? Because I'm looking at the fact that you haven't graduated yet. Where were you going to start from? You do not need an office. You do not need money. That's what I believed in. Of course, what did you start with?
To start
if it's not an office, if it's not the money, yes, you have the idea, but how are you going to execute this idea?
I have my platforms, and I believed I've made so many connections and networks. I have people who have things that are related to what I do. So using my platforms, using my networks to pass out these messages are really of great impact. I do not have the money, but someone has the money in my contacts. I just have to sell out to them the idea and give them reality about things that happen behind the closed doors. Even if I need to convince them, it's okay. They have the resources. I need them to go back and support this kind of people. So my social media, without the office, without the money, my exposure enough is good.
So what have you been able to do in this period? How have you been able to help the children?
Yes.
How are you working with them?
Yes.
Usually, how do you spot out those that are in need?
Yeah. I am always leaving the city and going to communities, to rural areas to discover children, because I believe in the community, in every community.
Are you working as a team, or for now you're still alone?
I'm working as an individual, but I have a team of people that appreciate what I do, and whenever I have an outreach, they come in with me and go with me. And then also, like, I go to these places, I leave the city and go to these places, to these communities, to identify these children. And the good news is I am so much grateful that I've been able to fulfill one of the heart desires that I really needed to. You know, like I told you, I was sponsored at the age of 3 years old by a kind woman from Canada throughout my life. And then I also had the blessing God touched my heart and gave me the advantage to spot out a little girl from Kapchora district. She's 3 years old, so she's my sponsor child. I take care of her education, her general well-being. Yeah,
So that is one of your success stories.
that's one of it. Yeah.
So other than that particular child
Yes.
looking after you're paying
Yeah.
fees for, have you been able to reach out to other children, for
Yes.
example, with materials?
Exactly, yes.
And what have you been able to do? for
I've
them?
been able to give them, educate them about menstrual hygiene.
So it's
Give
not
them,
really about the material things,
Yeah.
but also reaching out and
reaching out,
to
talking
them.
to them. That's why I said like it's important to educate children. Even if you do not have to give them maybe sweets or books and then you leave them hanging. What about that? Anyone can do it. Anyone can have 100K and go and do the same thing. But I believe what creates more impact is that you leave them with a message. Children catch a lot. Okay,
Yeah,
they're not like
exactly.
older people. Something stays in their head. So when they're growing up, they remember like somebody said this about this. I'm going to school, but they told me I should stick to school. I should respect my teachers. I should, appreciate whatever my parents have offered for me to be able to be at school. So I believe the message is really important. Though I've also contributed to gifting them, giving them scholastic materials, giving them the menstrual hygiene towels, and then clothing, that is just to excite them and tell them, okay, but you have to work hard for this. Whenever you have the opportunity, go there and work hard and be able to facilitate your own self.
I think you've been able to discover your purpose
Yes.
at early stage.
Yeah.
Is it your purpose? Do you feel like this
It's
is
my-
what I really want to do?
Yes. I've known this from the time I was
You
really
know, I always tell
little.
people, once you discover your purpose, what you're supposed to do, everything you ask from God,
Yeah.
He will give you, because He
Yeah.
knows you're going to use it in the right way.
In the right way,
The
yeah.
reason why we are praying and not getting, we don't even know what we are
But,
supposed to do
yeah.
with the things that God is going to give us.
Yes.
So at least once you understand your purpose, you know. Every time I go to pray, I'm not praying for myself alone, but I
Yeah.
have a responsibility.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges you've faced in this whole thing?
In this own thing, response, how people respond and react towards the things that I do. They might be of positive impact, but there are individuals who will not appreciate that. So what they do is to try and dim your light. They always find a negative part in the positive thing that you do. Serving, and there is nowhere the community is going to know about, there's nowhere the world is not going to know about these people that I stand for if I'm not going to use my social media to ask for their permission, to talk to them and say, can I pass this through this space, through my social media, so that people get the message. Okay, if I don't put it on my platforms. But people think it should be private. They think it's a show. They think it's, all of that. So there's no much thing I've faced other than that response, but I know how to deal with it. Okay, I know how to deal with it. There are people who will be
By the way,
negative
I also
always.
thought about it. I used to see people.
Yeah.
People keep saying, "Why are you posting it?
Yeah.
Couldn't you do it
In private.
But
Yeah.
I cannot be able to do it alone.
Yeah.
I need other people to join
Yes.
me. Some people just need to see that this one is doing it. I
Yeah,
think I
you
can
can
also
also
do
do
it.
it. Yes,
So without
exactly.
posting it, there's
Yeah.
no way. In fact, if you don't post it, you're limiting like getting resources.
Yeah.
Because you're limiting yourself and you're limiting the people that are supposed to get here.
Yeah.
But at least if you come out, there
Yeah.
are other people that will be willing to
Exactly.
work with you. So
Yeah.
other than that challenge,
Yeah.
do you have any other challenge?
Any other challenge so far, that is resources. I don't think I have enough to facilitate all of this all the time.
Yeah.
Though it's not making me to sit back whenever I have my savings from whatever side businesses that I do, I still go for it. But I have limited resources. Like I have limited backup. People or organizations that say, okay, you're doing this, I think we need to associate with this. Let's see how we're going to support. Even though I've reached out to so many, the response can be like, negative, or they might not respond like generally. So I think it's resources, and then yeah.
So as we wind up, tell me about this
Yeah.
beauty queen thing.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges, and what have you noticed about the industry, especially in Uganda?
Yes. So pageants in Uganda, it's not so much exposed and booming like in other countries, like African countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and But I appreciate the effort that they are putting in. The challenges that everyone faces, these young women face when they're going in for these pageants, is still funds. It needs a lot of money. It needs money. You need to be able to facilitate your own self. You need to be able to get outfits. Though maybe the pageant will be like, we shall have a sponsor to dress you on stage, but you have a boot camp. You need to dress well. You need to have your own outfits or cater for your side meals in case you're hungry. You don't have to wait for people like for lunchtime. At least you should have side something, a bite, all that, and also your own makeup and other things. So what I'm saying is funding, money. That's one of the challenges I think everyone faces when going to this space. And then also excitement. It's a challenge because you go to this space and you get so much excited. You forget your true self. You try to fake it. And then you're challenged in the middle. By the time you get there, you have so much expectations that you think you're going to have it, and when you don't have it, it affects you in a long run. Yes. And then beauty pageants in Uganda in general, I can say they are doing well, but I cannot judge in particular organizations, whatever they do, however they want their queens or what. But I think they should put so much effort on developing someone's inner self. Yes, inner self. Not just looking out for beautiful face that is going to go and represent as a beautiful face. They should focus on growing these people as individuals. Even those who do not win, at least they should be able to be transformed after the whole pageant process. Yes.
So where do you see yourself in? I usually, it's a common question, but the reason why I'm asking this is because you're doing so many things.
Yes.
So I don't know. Are you planning to specialize and stick to one thing, or where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years.
Especially now that you're doing so many things.
Yeah. In the next 5 years, I see myself growing from the little thing that I am right now to a bigger thing. I see myself being able to own a center that has all children that I stand for live in it. And then I feed them, then I'm able to educate them, and I'm able to do all of that, not only by myself, but by other people coming in to do it for me. I see myself being able to make the change that I need to see in the world. So yes, I don't need to I don't think I'll divert from what I'm doing now. It's all going to connect to that. I might be a pilot, I might be a lawyer, I might go into fashion,
but you still stick to
my purpose.
So,
yes.
Last words to our viewers and to the young girls out there.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, young, beautiful ladies. The one thing that I really want to encourage you to do is to get out of your comfort zone. Be aggressive. Be willing to learn. You have something in you that the world needs to really see. Yeah. You do not have to wait for someone to help you identify it. You already have it inside of you. Do not keep it at mute. Just get out there, whatever you have. You do not need much to motivate or inspire someone next to you, And then the other thing is pray. Putting God first is very important. Whatever God you pray to, let him be the first inspiration. Let him be the first motivation in whatever thing that you do. Yes.
Oyo nno yabadde omugenyi waffe olunaku olwaleero. Abawala njagala okusembayo nga mbategeeza nti kirungi nnyo okubeera nga muzuula papasi yammwe, kyekigendererwa, not so okubeera ng'ozuula lwaki oli wano. There's a reason why we are all here. tetuli wano kubanga twazaalibwa tulina kubaawo. Buli omu alina ekintu ekyenjawulo ky'alina okukola, and if we are able to discover that, the world will be a better place. So bw'oba ng'oli eyo ng'obadde tonnazuula ki ky'oyagala, tandika okukirowoozaako, tandika okwetunulamu, kiki kye nsinga okwagala, kiki kye nkola, kiki kye nsobola okukola, osobole okubeera ng'okola ki, ng'okyusa obulamu bw'abalala. Because once you discover your purpose, obeera teweeyamba wekka, oyamba n'abalala. Other than that, eyo yebadde show yaffe eya wiiki eno. Nze Shira Nakayemba, tusinkane wiiki ejja ssaawa ze zimu 12:30 ez'akawungeezi. Ate bw'oba ogisubiddwa genda ku YouTube channel yaffe oba ku Spark TV Facebook page. We always stream live. Bye bye.
Inspire.